Hey there, I'm Nina, and welcome to my garden. This is my happy place, alive with an ever-changing mix of veggies and fruit trees, living soil, and tons of flowers. My passion is helping people everywhere create their own gardens and learn how to grow an abundance of food at home. If you set your space up to win, gardening can become a meaningful rhythm of your life, and I'm here to help you get started. I was fresh out of college and got my first job on a farm for $11 an hour. I was a high roller, and I would drive an hour outside of town, show up at this farm. I was one of two girls on the crew, and the crew was like 20 other guys that had been farming for decades. So when it would rain in the summer, which was pretty much every single day, we would go into the tomato hoop houses. So it's this big high tunnel and rows of tomatoes that were just insane. They were flourishing and abundant and spilling over. So Tano, the foreman, my first time doing this, handed me a machete. It was like, okay, Nina, we're going to prune the tomatoes, and all in Spanish. And I was like, what is about to happen? I didn't even have shoes on because my boots were soaking wet. So we go through and we're just hacking the tomatoes to keep them in check so that the trellises wouldn't fall over by the end of the season. So anyway, learning to tend a garden is just something that you have to do in real life. Like, you will get the hang of it. You'll find your own methods, whether it's carefully with pruners or with a machete on a big old organic farm. So there are some really helpful ways that you can tend your garden through the season. So the first is trellising. If you're pruning your plants and trellising them, think of the air as sanitizing. So a trellis is a structure that goes up and down. It can be made out of homemade materials. It can be like a cattle panel, like what I use in my garden. You can purchase something prefab or make your own. But the idea is to get the plants off of the soil, which has a lot of good like bacteria and different things going on. But when your plants are touching the soil, you might get fungus and some other things you might have to fight. So getting your plants up on a trellis is really helpful in maintaining your garden throughout the season. So you can prune off any of the sickly looking leaves or branches and then get it up, and things will be much smoother in your garden. So the next is mulch. Mulch gets delivered to this farm by the truckload because I'm obsessed with mulch. We use it around our fruit trees. I use it in the compost to get things going if the pile isn't really active anymore. We use it for the chickens. I use it in the garden. So our strawberry plants right now are producing and they're ripe. And so I don't want my strawberries to get fungusy or black spots or soft spots. I want to eat the whole berry because we've worked hard to grow these things. So putting a layer of mulch between the soil and the berries that are touching the ground helps keep things really clean, and I'll show you how to do that. The third is irrigation. So if you water your garden every single day, you probably have a beautiful space and it looks really good. If you forget to water every other day, it's no big deal, but I know that with a little bit more consistency that your garden will do much better. So here's my hack. Consistent irrigation will change the game. In case you forget to water one day here or there, this will set your system up so that you have more time to do the other things in your garden that will take good care. So the first hack is this little splitter. You can put this splitter that's a few dollars from the hardware store on any good old spigot. In my garden, I thought through these things way ahead of time, and I knew that I wanted the underground PVC system with a time clock from the start. So I was able to set everything up. But if you're wanting a DIY hack that you can add to any system, you can use this irrigation clock. So this is probably $30 or $40 at the hardware store, and it takes a load off of your chores list so that you can do those other things in your garden. So you just set it every single day for 30 minutes, and it will do a lot of the work for you. So once you have your splitter and your irrigation clock, this is the drip tape that you want to use. When the system turns on, this whole thing will fill up with water and will evenly water your whole plants. It actually conserves water because you're not using a garden hose with water spraying out into the air. Every little drop of water goes straight to your plants. So you just screw it on the bottom. And I used this exact system in my first garden for 4 years, and it did amazing. Even if I was out of town, I knew that the garden was getting watered consistently. There's a lot to tending, and I know between trellising and mulching and consistent irrigation, you're gonna do great, but there's a lot more to it. So if you go online and find me, the Dirt Academy, my website or my Instagram, then I'm there to help you. I have tons of resources to help you get in your garden. So the reward to an abundant garden that you've tended so well throughout the season is a beautiful harvest. And so before we go out to client jobs in the morning, Heather and I, she is my best girl in real life and in my business. She is here this morning and we're making a smoothie so that we can have the fuel for the rest of the day, like that farm fresh nutrition to get us going. Learning to tend your garden well will take a lifetime, and the reward of tending your garden, an abundant harvest. We love making smoothies with as many ingredients from the farm as we possibly can, like mangoes, avocados, coconut water, kale and greens, local honey, and lime juice, my little secret that I learned from a good friend. So when you convince your friends to come help you tend the garden with you, you can feed them a nourishing, homegrown smoothie right afterwards. Happy growing.